Hello, everyone, and welcome back to TeeShirtz and Tea Tuesdays, guys. Y'all know how we do over here. We love to have a great time, and we love to bring forth some really good content and information to not only help Black business owners, but to also assist consumers with making wise decisions. So, guys, welcome to T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays, honey. This is season 6, episode number 5. So, with all of that being said, y'all know we have to do our formalities, honey. Let's go ahead and get the housekeeping together around here. Okay, so first of all, we'd like to say like, share, and subscribe on whichever platform you are on today. Please make sure that you follow us. And as always, guys, use the comment section over here to leave your comments, ask questions, and give us some love. We love to see those hearts. Guys, also, this is going to be a fantastic show. So make sure that you share. Why? Because at T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays, honey, sharing is caring. So we have a great lined up for you tonight. We actually have the one and only Black-owned merchant service company CEO and their consultant here tonight at T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays. So if you are a business owner or an entrepreneur, you use your credit card machines, you're using checks, or whatever the case may be, you're right in the right place. And if you know someone who's a business owner, Black business owner, or entrepreneur, make sure that you share this show with them, okay? So, guys, as always, we want to give credit to our producer for the show, and we also want to give our shout out to our Moa artist, Miss Tyra Renee. You guys head on over to Instagram and look her up, Tyra Renee. Schedule your appointment for a makeup session with her or a tutorial or whatever the case may be. And guys, also, she's doing a lot more than makeup over there. So y'all go over there and see what y'all can find. She's got a lot of good goodies over there. And also, guys, please make sure that you tune in to Bimp on the Spot with Taz this week. He has a very wonderful guest, a chef, coming up on exclusive interview with Chef Javar on Bimp on the Spot with Taz this coming Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, guys, y'all don't forget about that. Make sure that you are there. Okay, so now it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty of it all. Y'all know I like to say that. We're going to do our product review for you all tonight. Now, last week, I really wanted to do a product review for this company, but I had not received the product yet. So I hope y'all got those teacups ready, because we have some tantalizing, effervescent acumen ready to present to you. And tonight's tea is actually from a Black-owned tea company for which I am reviewing tonight. The name of this tea company is called Sahara Tea. All of their teas are imported right out of Nigeria, Africa, guys. Yes. And we are going to have the owners on our show July 19th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys don't want to miss that. They are going to be our featured Spotlight Black business owners for that evening. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Sahara Tea. Yes, 100% natural, hunty. Okay, so listen, I got this tea last Tuesday evening, like right before the show. And I hadn't had time to open it up until Thursday. When I tell y'all that this tea is so good, they've been using this tea, this particular the tea leaves for this tea for over 100 years. Okay, this is a household brand in Nigeria, and it has so many great natural ingredients in it to help with health and all of that stuff. But it tastes Really, really, really good. I don't know if you guys like it's like a cinnamon. I know it's there are cloves in there, but it gives you like a nice, oh, it's so smooth. It has a little spicy kick to the back of it, but it's not bad. It adds like a nice smooth flavor to it. And I generally sweeten my tea with like either agave or raw honey. But this particular day, I did not sweeten. I just went ahead because it smelled so good. I'm like, oh, it smells like it has so many good like flavors. You could just, it smells up the house. That's just how good it is. And I went ahead and drink, guys, I drank this tea without sweetener. Okay, I drank this tea without sweetener, and it was actually very good without any sweetener in it. So, this is going to be one of our main go to brands on T shirts and Tea Tuesdays. We've been looking for a tea that we could just say, this is our tea, this is our go to. Guys, you want to make sure that you go to saharatea.com, order you some. You get 12 packs in this one bag. You get 12 packs. And when I tell you guys, you would not be disappointed at all from this tea. I have purchased my sister-in-law and I we like drinking tea. So if you come to my house and you're a guest here, we have an entire cabinet that is dedicated to tea. My husband likes coffee, so there's a little section for his coffee, but the tea takes up like two different like little levels in the cabinet, right? So I have like all different flavors and brands and things like that. But I'm so excited to be able to support a Black owned business and to really, really, truly say that their brand is absolutely fantastic. Additionally, I've spoken with two of the owners of Sahara Tea, and they are so, when I tell you Black excellence, because that's what we like to showcase here on T-shirts and Tea Tuesdays, Black excellence, honey, all day, every day. Okay. And so that's why I thought it would be so befitting to bring them on the platform. We're actually speaking with them about coming up with our own signature flavor to be able to offer to our tea sippers, honey. So when y'all get these little teacups, honey, y'all can go ahead and put your little T-shirts and Tea Tuesdays blend in your teacup. Okay. So, again, like I said, please make sure that you go over to their website, saharatea.com, and purchase some tea from them. Very, very good. Very, very good. I'm going to go ahead and sip some now. One moment. Mm. Mm-hmm. It's real good. Okay, so now with that being said, let's get on with the nitty gritty, honey. We have some great guests here tonight. Again, I spoke about them earlier in today's episode of T-shirts and Tea Tuesdays, but I mean, at the beginning of the episode, I spoke in regards to them, and I just want to let you guys know that, listen, if you are a business owner, as I said, and you are an entrepreneur, you do want to be here for this, because oftentimes as business owners, we think about all of the bigger, like what we would consider um larger expenses, like if your raw materials or your raw goods for making your products, you're thinking about service providers. If you're baking cakes, you're thinking about your ingredients for that. But oftentimes when we're looking at increasing our revenues and decreasing our expenses, we don't really always look at what we're paying in merchant services. We don't. And we're not always reading the contracts thoroughly to see what we're getting when we sign up for merchant services. So when I made this connection with Mr. Alex Bailey, who is the CEO and founder of Premier Generation LLC, and his daughter, Latisa Fosu, she is an excellent consultant, guys. She has been assisting me with so many different things. We are going to take the plunge and sign up for our merchant services to go through them, because we are currently using someone like Stripe. So we're looking to make that transition, and it feels good to be able to know that we're going to transition and keep some of the dollars that we are spending within our own community, right? But that is not the best part. They're going to come and spill a whole lot of piping hot tea about the services that they provide and all of the years of experience that they have doing what they do right here tonight. Guys, listen. If you have not already done so, please share this particular episode of T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays with all of your business friends, entrepreneurs, your friends. I'm sure that they know people who are also business owners that need merchant services. Nowadays, everything is online, we're virtual, digital, and so a lot of transactions happen online. And so you are using a merchant service, whether it's PayPal, whether it's Shopify, you're using somebody and you're paying something. So we're going to speak with them tonight because they're going to tell us how we can save money by taking the opportunity of signing up for their service, right? So with that being said, I want to just read a little bit of what we have on Premier Generation LLC. So Premier Generation is at the forefront of innovation within the industry. Our clients appreciate how we provide them with the right solutions. The industry has so many ways of accepting credit card payments. The merchant needs the right solution that will fit their best interest. I love that. Our company is a Delaware-based company providing payment processing services to all types of e-commerce, retail, and professional service merchants located throughout the United States. A 100% minority-owned business prepared to process over $1 billion in payments in a growing industry. Premier Generation LLC has its minority business enterprise certification, which is MBE. When you choose Premier Generation for your credit card processing needs, you partner with a company that has helped simplify the evolutionary needs that are imperative in the industry. Premier Generation's partnerships have created the best in the industry, which consists of a knowledgeable staff available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to provide you with the customer and technological support services merchants deserve. Merchants are ready to provide their clients with additional payment methods and services that are second to none in this industry. Premier Generation provides them peace of mind knowing that their process is indeed working in their best interest. So notice that we use best interest on several different occasions. And we are going to learn a little bit more about Premier Generation and the services that they can provide you as Black business owners and they're going to show you how you can increase your revenues by simply making a small switch over to who you choose for your merchant services. Okay? So we're going to show you how to save. We'll be right back right after this with Mr. Alex Bailey and Miss Latisa Fosu.
Welcome to BEMP, Black Heritage Enterprise Marketplace Corporation, an e-commerce enterprise platform created for Black business owners and empowered buyers across the globe. We are the platform that empowered buyers frequent most, the enterprise that our employees love working for, the parent company of BEMCO, Black Entrepreneurs Marketplace, a Black-owned e-commerce Black business membership marketplace, and a marketing and advertising platform for Black business owners. We provide a variety of features such as a Black business directory for both state and national searches and targeted product and service searches. Black business owners, advertise and market your brand to the most important consumers on earth with BEMP. Black business owners, join BEMP today, BEMP Corporation.
All right. And we are back. We are back with our special guest for this evening. Guys, listen, I would like for you guys to join me in welcoming to our platform, T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays, Mr. Alex Bailey and Mrs. Latisa Fosu. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys.
Glad to be here.
Well, thank you for
Welcome.
having us.
No problem. Welcome, welcome, welcome to T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays. I'm super excited for everyone to learn all that I've learned just from being in communications with you all over the past few weeks. I want to first say before we get started, if you are tuning in right now to T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays and you know of Black business owners, entrepreneurs, who you think would benefit from the information that is coming forth right now about the Black merchant services that you're going to hear about tonight, please go ahead and share. Share, 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 and share again. And also do not hesitate to leave your comments in the comment section should you have any questions. We want to hear from you this evening. So, with that being said, let's get down into it. Yes. Okay. So, Latisa, we're going to, I think, start out with you. It was so interesting because you and I met and we talked, and then you kind of share with me about what you all are doing over at Premier Generations. And so, I know Mr. Bailey is going to give us all the tea because he is an expert. When I say expert, seasoned expert in his industry. So he's going to break it down to us. But Latisa did such a wonderful job just kind of laying out the whole overview of Premier Generation. And so well, let's do this first. Before we do that, I'm going to allow each one of you to kind of share with us, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get down into it. How about that? Y'all want to do that?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. All right, let's get
Okay.
started. All right. So
Okay.
Miss
Well, I'll
Leticia,
start.
okay.
Certainly. Certainly. Well, I have been a business consultant and strategist for the past 13 years through Nova. And what I do, what I've done there is basically learning and teaching others how to maximize their portfolio as far as a customer base. And during those 13 years, I also picked up what my father was doing through merchant services. So while I was consulting, I also became I worked at a merchant service company, TeeShirtz, to learn the company as well, as I saw that my dad had this vision to build this company for our family. So I said, okay, while I'm, consulting other clients stuff, let me go ahead and learn this too. So while I'm sitting there building my own business through government contracting, through local, state contracting, doing software, I also started teaching or consulting with other people and connecting businesses so that they can grow as well. And that's one thing I allow people, just go ahead and pick my brain.
Yes.
It's fun for me. I love doing it. And then, as I said, as I learned the merchant service company, that's when my dad came up with the Premier Generations. I said, okay, yes, this is something we can do. We have the consulting side. We have everything that we need to educate businesses on how to build, how to market, how to navigate, how to increase profits, all under one roof. And so I'm really excited about it. That's one thing I love doing. I'm a business strategist at heart. I love coming up with ideas. And this is one thing that I love adding to that puzzle that I'll be able to piece together for people.
Oh my goodness. And let me tell you something. So from firsthand experience and knowledge is just dealing with Latisa. She is so knowledgeable of so many different things. And when she says that she helps you to navigate and to come up with great ideas, she is not, it's the truth. Okay. It is the truth. She is, and it's not just her, like their entire family. They are a family of business owners and entrepreneurs, and each one of their gifts and talents ties in with Premier Generation. So we're going to probably, hopefully, be able to get into some of that tonight. But before we go on, I have to allow Mr. Bailey to introduce himself and to share with everyone who he is, what he's done, and what he's currently doing right now. So, Mr. Bailey, you have the floor. We want to hear from you.
I appreciate the opportunity. Well, over 30 years, I've been in processing. I work with a company by the name of JP Morgan Chase. I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with that company. Worked in there on a different type of model when I came in because the lack of footprint they had in certain areas in the country. And in doing so, I was able to create my own contract with them. Make a long story short, was very successful, created quite a huge clientele. And at some point in time, the bottom line to it is I learned the business. I learned it extremely well. Prior to that, I was very successful. And this is why they brought me in, because of the fact that they needed someone to do this job. Yes, I had a vice president status at their company. Again, did extremely well, but came to the conclusion, based on the way things were going, that there's a better way to maintain retention in this industry. Retention meaning you don't want to lose your base. And by virtue of my way of doing things versus the way they were doing things, they came to the conclusion that their retention rate was down around 74%, and I was at 99.8%.
Wow.
So at that point in time, there's companies called First Data, which are your platforms, and then TATISA, where my daughters work. They have their platforms. All banks use those platforms in order to transfer funds. I was the gentleman that learned that you got to get to know people, and I had some golfing buddies, and I wanted to know the key people that the banks dealt with. But at the end of the day, I decided I'll break off and start my own business. Why? Because number one, I work with large corporations, and I still do, and I do it very successfully. But at the same time, I also saw how the smaller companies actually paid more for processing than the larger companies. It had a lot to do with the fact that education, not aware, access, things like that. So by doing that, I decided when I started Premier, I was very fortunate when I did that. I moved 100% of my business to Premier.
Wow.
So if you take care of people, they will take care of you. There was the springboard to Premier Generations right there. And in doing so and continuing to do that work for several years, that's when I came to the idea it's time to bring everybody else along. And that's when we got our MBE. And I said, it's time to start helping the community. And I'm fortunate to have my son, my two daughters, who have a strong mentality as their father. You tell us we can't do something, you got trouble on your hands.
Okay.
So we go after it, and we go after it, we make it happen. So now that we are established, we're doing very well. And you mentioned to me, mentioned to others how we process anything in this industry that has to be done in credit card processing. I have established relationships with all the key corporations in America.
Wow.
So if you've heard of people like Shopify, Clover, if you heard of other people like Cinpos, MyCommerce, they all know who I am. They all do business with me with large corporations. Now, why are we doing this for the minority industry? Because we need to be educated. We need to be put in a position now when we start our businesses. We can't go out basically using credit cards and paying 2.3% basis points on top of interchange. And I'll get into that later. And as a result, because of a company like ours, because of the relationship with them and the volume that we handle, we can actually take care of that pricing for you because they will come through us. And by coming through us, we will control the pricing, but you will still get the exact product that they're using, the same equipment, the whole 9 yards, but we will also service you. And that's another piece that's very important that we're getting to tonight. So I'm Alex Bailey, and I'm here for you, and let's do what we need to do.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just want to know wait, did y'all catch that tea? Mm-hmm. not only are they 100% Black minority owned, which kills the whole stereotype that we don't know how to operate in excellence. His track record in this industry indicates that he has a 99.8% retention rate.
Mm-hmm.
That's excellence right there. Okay. And so he's saying that not only can we provide you with the merchant services, but we're also going to provide you with the customer service experience in case you didn't catch that T.
Right.
And so that right there shows the fact that you have learned the industry and that you have worked very hard to learn the weaknesses and
Mm-hmm.
fortify yourself in those areas so that you can provide an entire package deal.
That's correct.
Y'all, let me tell you something. You can't get no better than that. And he's saying like, okay, so I know, for instance, I was just speaking with someone probably about a month ago. Oh, I think when you all came in and presented to the advisory board, one of our advisory board members was saying that she was using Shopify. So on the front end, it looks like they're charging you the 1.2 or 1.3%, but then on the back end there's another percentage point that they also charge. So
Mm-hmm.
she was like, it was just too expensive to even do business with them.
That's right.
There are other people that talk about how they deal with PayPal. Same thing, the fees. The fees are so much that it takes away from the business owner really being able to, you know, grow the business. So when you're talking about when you're speaking on the rates and the fact that people will get the same equipment that you would get with a Clover, that you would get with the Shopify or whatever the case may be, which we would call POS systems and some
Mm-hmm.
other
That's
stuff as
correct.
well. We're gonna get into it tonight. So guys, if you are here and you just tuned in, tonight's guests are Mr. Alex Bailey, CEO of Premier Generation LLC, and his daughter, who is a consultant for Premier Generation. Her name is Miss Latisa Fosu. You guys want to make sure that you are listening and that you share this with all of your friends, family who are in business, who are using, you guys see them with the square. That's another one. They have the little cards for Square. That's a big one. Y'all want to make sure that you bring them in on this, because we're going to talk about the rate of discount that comes with partnering with this 100% minority owned merchant service company. So now let's talk about, I guess you touched on it some when you were giving your introduction.
Mm-hmm.
What separates you from the rest? And you covered some of that, but I know that there probably is a little bit more there. What separates you from the Shopify's, and I know that some banks do have like merchant service companies that
Yes, they
they
do.
work with, right?
Yes, they do. Mm-hmm.
So what separates you from them, and how can you help us? Because like you said, we don't, because we're not educated, we're not knowledgeable in these areas. So can you just give us a little bit of, like I said, I think you shared a little bit when you talk about how you left Chase and you started your own, and with the
Mm-hmm.
retention rates and all of that. And Latisa, you're more than welcome to jump in as well, because I know you're well versed as well in this. What separates you all from everyone else? Why
Well,
should we choose Premier Generation?
well, if you read a lot of information about this industry and in any industries you're in, people say they're your partners.
Mm-hmm.
It's true with us. We're your
Okay.
partner. When someone calls in for whatever service they may need, you don't get what is called a relationship manager,
Mm,
someone you just don't even know. You're
right.
going to get someone that's going to be assigned to your account. And what does that mean? That means when you're processing with us, we're going to be monitoring your account. We're going to make
Mm,
sure that the things that you're doing it right. Uh,
mhm.
we're going to make sure that when we basically set you up, you're processing correctly. Now, let's go back. Let's crawl before we walk here. You have what is called credit card machines, which are standalone machines. You have
Right.
what we call online, which means you can do processing online. Everybody do a lot of those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
We talked
Mm-hmm.
about the POS systems. All of those areas are true. And then we have to talk about things like card not present, which is at the
Mm,
place of business. And we have to talk about card present. Now,
mm-hmm.
there's a very important piece here that everybody has to understand. There's something called the European MasterCard Visa, EMV. All right, that
Okay.
is something that's been indoctrinated in America now for a good reason. The reason
Right.
that's being done is because in the day, there was a time when someone would come in and process a credit card. And when they
Mm,
process a credit card, 6 months later, let's say they spent $600 in your business.
mm-hmm.
Once that was done, they'll say, okay, I'm going to make sure they're checking their chargebacks. They will go to their issuing bank and they will say, okay, I got the product. You know what? I didn't like the product. Call the bank and do what is called a chargeback. Now, if you are a business and you're not aware of that
Mm,
$600 that you made 6 months ago can
mm-hmm.
easily dissipate from your account 6 months later. All because you may get a chargeback notice and you fail to answer that chargeback notice. We will monitor your account on a weekly basis to make sure those things don't happen. People you lose thousands of dollars just in out of you're not being aware of those things are happening.
Wow.
This is what we do for corporations, and it's a godsend thing. They love the idea that somebody's monitoring their account.
Yeah.
Yes, companies tell you they will do that, but they don't do that. And
Gotcha.
here's another point. Once we find out you do have a chargeback, we will notify you. And then when we notify you, we want you to basically explain to us what happened to that chargeback. And then
Mm,
about explaining that to us, okay, this is what we did, Mr. Bailey. We did this. You take that information, you send it back to our office. Once
mm-hmm.
we have that information, we go fight the case for you. And when
Wow.
we go and fight, we send it to them. And keep in mind, we have to tell the issuing bank your cardholder is not being fair to the merchant. And here are the documents to support that. And we have
Wow.
a very high 92% rating on winning those. Because if you're doing things right, the truth will always come out. Now,
Got you.
another thing, where the EMV also comes in, if I go into your business and I use my EMV card, and
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, 3 or 5, 6 months, I want to put in a fraud case. Okay, that really wasn't me. Okay, that doesn't work because what happens is EMV it's a compliance now. And since
Mm-hmm.
I'm in your business and I've been to your business and I've signed that, that is something they're going to automatically lose. However, if you're not EMV compliant and I go in and I use that card and I use a chip and I know you're not, you will lose that case because you're not compliant.
Wow.
A lot of
Wow.
things go on that you really don't know. Now, here's the
Mm-hmm.
beauty of it. Because it was set up that way, when the bank sees that you were EMV compliance, they automatically know that there's a problem over here with their customer. So as a
Mm-hmm.
result, merchant is left alone and you're not even bothered anymore. It's up to the
Good.
bank itself. It's up to the bank itself to deal with their customer on that chargeback now.
Mm.
Now, can you imagine if you're out of sight, out of mind, and you're finding out where you're losing money? Sometimes you never know because you never realize. And
Yes. Right.
that happens to a lot of companies. And if you can think about the fact that I deal with people that processes millions of dollars a month, they are able
Mm.
to see, wow, you mean, yes, you could have almost lost $10,000 last month. So this is real. Now, from our standpoint, going into the businesses that we want to deal with here, we want
Mm-hmm.
to be able to say, this is something that you have to maintain. It's
Right.
something that is out there now. And when people understand that you're vulnerable, they will take advantage of you. Now,
Mm-hmm.
getting away from the chargeback era and getting into more important things also is that whatever comes up in processing 8 to 5, you got somebody you can call. You're not going to get a voicemail. You're not going to get this. We got someone. And if you don't get that person, all we recommend you do is leave your name, your number, and they will get back to you when they get off the phone. because we're going to want to know what your problems are. Now, from the standpoint of processing, let's say, for instance, on a credit card machine, you using it and you got all your batch reports, and all of a sudden you're out in the paper and the batch report goes through, and oh my goodness, I lost my batch report. We have that in our system. All
Wow.
you do is make a phone call and say, hey, Latisa, we lost our batch report. We didn't have this. No problem. We'll get it to you in about 15 or 20 minutes. All we have to do is get into the system, pull it up, and just email it to you. And it's done. All of those things that people say they're going to do, they are doing it. And if you do that well, why would someone leave you? I love to tell you that any of my competition that comes in with whatever pricing or anything that they want to do, I don't worry about that, because when they do, they'll tell them to call me. So my competition calling me, and I would speak with them as to what do they need. And when they tell me what to do, I just tell them that there's no way that's going to happen, because this is what we do and this is how we get it done. So that confidence is something of reality, because we just do the job right. And that's really what this industry is all about. And there's a lot of other things that people don't realize. There's some legal things that we have to do called PCI compliance. Nobody knows what that is, but you're getting charged every month when you sign up for PCI compliance. What is PCI compliance, Mr. Bader? Well,
I was just going to ask you that.
PCI compliance is a way that you deal with processing credit cards. Remember the day when you used to use those knuckle busters? You just run it across the card.
Yeah.
You had everybody's credit card number on that piece of paper. That's why you get the receipt and your credit card, 4 credit card numbers on that paper. The industry grew to the point where they said, we got to stop this because too many people are getting ripped off. Now, what they decided to do, they were going to do what is called truncating. So what they do now, if you notice on the receipt, you see the last 4 or 5 digits of the credit card.
Yeah.
That's called truncations. Now, however, if you do any processing now, and for instance, you call or someone writes down a credit card number for whatever reason, there is a process that allows you as a company to make sure that any information that you have with regards to processing, certain people can handle it, but it has to be in lock and key, and you're fully responsible for that. And a lot of other things, it's called the SAQ that you have to fill out. I do all the SAQs for the companies that I deal with, and I have trained people that do it as well. Because we know your business, we know each year when it comes time to renew, we renew you, we call you and say it's time to renew. Now, what does that cost? This process, in many cases, is $150 a month. Now, if you have 10 locations, 50 locations, it's $150 per merchant number.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that is.
I have set up with Security Metrics, which is the largest PCI compliance company. And what I've done with all my customers, I have a customer that only pays $99.98 for a merchant number, and he has 1 merchant number. I have a customer that pays $99.98, and he has 50 locations. So once you're in, and once you're in with us, and if you have multiple locations, all you have to do is get on the phone with me once a year with Security Metrics. I will basically introduce you. We have you in the system, and I will tell them all you need to do is make the payment. We'll send you the receipt. I'll do all the work. My office will do all the work. And once the certificate is done within the next 15 or 20 minutes, because by that time, knowing your business, I know exactly how to fill all this information out to keep it compliant. Once it's done, you get your copy. I keep a copy in file. And then I'm just like your attorney. If somebody comes after you for PCI compliance, you call me.
Wow.
Things that don't go on in the industry. This is why I had to step aside and say I need to do my own thing. Because there's a lot of need out here, and people are losing a lot of money. And some people are getting sued because if someone comes in and they, for some reason, use your business and all of a sudden say, I lost my identity by using this company and you're not PCI compliant, you're in really, really deep trouble. They don't tell you
Oh,
this.
MG.
So this is a part of processing that everybody overlooks. But when
Got
you
you.
when
Yes.
you, when you work with someone like us, that we're going to educate you on processing,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to make
Mm-hmm.
sure you're competitively priced, and we'll get to that next. Why go anywhere else? Now,
Wow.
regarding the pricing, let's say this from the smaller companies, because we are dealing with small companies here, and some are large.
Mm-hmm.
You have a scenario here where back in the day, the government decided, we're not going to pay any more fees. It's about 10 years ago. So what they created what was called surcharge and cash discount. So if you go to the government now and send you swipe your card, all right,
Mm-hmm.
they automatically charging you a surcharge fee and you don't even know it. So what it boils down to is the government don't pay credit card transaction fees. Yes, then as things evolved, companies started complaining, and all of a sudden they made it legal for companies to do it. And it's called
Mm.
surcharge and it's called cash discount. The
Okay.
benefit that I would think, if you have, say, for instance, a business that's using under $300 average ticket,
Mm-hmm.
can you imagine someone walking into your place and using a credit card? And when they use that credit card, all you do is have a sign there and say, okay, we do a cash discount at 3.5% of the total. It is running rampant in the market now. People are
Wow.
doing it, and the reason why people are doing it is because number one, they don't want to carry cash,
Mm-hmm.
and number two, when they come to you and say, "Well, why are you charging me 3.5%?" I say, "Well, your issuing bank, the card that you have basically have points on them." Yes, they do, and as a result, we're now allowed to get the proceeds because you're getting the benefits of the points. And most people just walk away. So what does that mean? I have companies that are doing it right now. You have restaurants that are doing it right now. When you sit down, you're paying that.
I've
They,
seen that before, and I
yeah,
couldn't understand what it was.
so, but the bottom line to it is, once it's all said and done,
Mm-hmm.
I go out and I take my wife to dinner. It's $175. I see it. Okay, that's fine. I give the person a tip, and,
Mm-hmm.
then we move on. So as a result of that, now the merchant, those fees in relation to that particular amount is no
Mm-hmm.
longer something that they pay. So if you're paying on an average of your $75,000 account, okay, and let's say you're
Mm-hmm.
paying $650 for merchant service fees, that's
Mm-hmm.
gone. The most that you'll pay is about $45 or $50 just to keep the business going, because there are little interchange things that has to be done. But everything is pretty much passed on from the standpoint of processing to
Mm-hmm.
your customer.
Wow.
And if you notice back in the day, when you go get gas, they'll say cash
Mm-hmm.
discount. If you
Mm-hmm.
go in and you pay for cash, but if you pay for credit cards, it's the same thing.
Get out of here.
It's the same thing. This is called education. Now, can you imagine all of a sudden you're doing $75,000 a month in business, and all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden, because you're using credit cards, that allows you to grow your business. Now you're up to $250,000 a month, and you are paying $600 a month for $75,000, and you're no longer paying that. Now you're up to $250,000, and you're still not paying that.
Wow.
Education, education, education.
This is the real deal right here. You talking about, and so this is how he's teaching us how we can increase our revenues and decrease our expenses. And not only that, but your quality assurance is on a whole nother level.
That's the service. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all
Wow.
about.
Yes, so
Go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
so and just to
Lisa, go ahead.
Go ahead.
yeah, so and just to add to that, and what he's saying, what you're saying about, that partnership, we don't see our customers as just a client. We are a partner
Mhm.
with your business. You have to see us as that extra department, that extra leg that's going to push for you to make sure you're getting your money. And
Yes.
that's one thing we are really, really great at doing. We are great at, if someone tries to do something wrong, we are great at making that argument.
Wow.
Other thing is, as well as we said, we have, two other consultants as well. We are also able to help you streamline and navigate and make profits elsewhere. you know so you have that one component where you have your merchant services, you're profiting there. We're basically like another department for you, and we handle
I
that.
love it. I love that, Latisa, which kind of leads me into asking you this question. Can you tell the viewers how your consulting services help to benefit them? Because you're not only getting the merchant service, but you're getting the consultant part, which is also like the customer. It's not even really customer care. Like she said, it's a whole nother branch that you add onto your business. And just from my interactions with Latisa, I'm telling you that you are going to grow your business. And as you're growing your business, you're also growing their business. So they understand the importance of partnership and what that should look like. Can you just give viewers an example of what would be some of the consultations that you've done in the past, like in order to help other businesses?
Yeah, so again, as you said, because that's where we primarily make our monies through processing. So the more you make, the better we are. We'll help you grow, we grow as well. So with that,
Mm-hmm.
there we have educational services through how to do business with the government. Case in point, when I started my first contract, what a lot of people think, oh, I have to spend so much money to do business with the government. You don't. It's like, so I can tell people, hey, I spent $135 to profit 245,000.
Wow.
So showing customers how to be resourceful when you're
Mm.
making that money, as your money's growing, how can you be resourceful? How can you
Mhm.
strategically set yourself up to grow? How can you put yourself in a position? Who can you connect with? you
Got
know
you.
so a
Mhm.
lot of times, let's say for instance, someone says, hey, I want to start a spice company. Let's just say a spice company, whatever. Okay, a lot of
Mhm.
times people will go online and they'll try to look for a spice vendor. A lot of times they don't know that spice vendor is a third or fourth party, but you got to find the direct source. Who grew it?
Got. Mhm.
Let's call them.
That's
Let's go
right.
ahead and get you to that main person and cut out that third and fourth person.
That's right.
Because right now in this day and age, it's very hard for Black businesses to compete.
Mm-hmm.
We are charged much more
Yep.
than other companies.
That's
And
right.
I've
Yeah.
witnessed it firsthand. The rate that they price us is so much to the point where we can't compete with the
Can't
average
compete. Yeah.
company. And everyone
That's
says,
right.
oh, well, why are Black businesses so expensive? Why are the products so expensive? It's not that we're trying to be greedy in the market saying, hey, buy us, we're Black support. No, it's not that. The simple
That's
fact
right.
is that the cost of supplies is more. So
Yep.
we're paying out more for the supplies, but we're getting back less for our labor.
That's
So
right.
showing
Mhm.
clients, hey, this is how you're going to be resourceful. This is who we need to connect with so that you can
Mhm.
get this out on the market and get
Mm-hmm.
it
Mhm.
sold. So
Mm-hmm.
That's
once
right.
when you get it online on that online platforms, then yeah, that money comes in. And as your money
Yes.
comes in, we're going to monitor it and
Mhm.
make sure those credit cards are processing.
Mm-hmm. And the main
Now,
key to the
go
main key
ahead.
to success, the main key to success is growth, and
Mhm.
the big part of that growth to continue to grow is to be stable in your finances. So if
Wow.
you're making more sales and at the same time your cost is not to the point where it's affecting
Right.
you, you're going to be
Mhm.
in very, very good shape. And it's a simple thing. I've had companies call me, corporations call me and say, Mr. Bailey, we're at such and such basis points. And, when we started with you guys, we were $500,000 and now we're $1.2 million. We're paying a lot of money in credit card fees. And I tell them, as long as you grow and you're making money, it's going to cost you money. Now, it's
Right.
those types of companies that basically will not go to cash discount, because their
Mm-hmm.
average tickets are $500 to $1,000, $500 to
Gotcha.
$1,000. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
can tell them, okay, listen, there's a way that we can do this through a cash discount. Oh, no, can't do that. I don't want to discredit my business because of what they sell. See,
Mm.
can you imagine asking somebody to pay 3.5% on $1,500? Not going to fly. Not going to
Yeah.
fly. So
Yeah.
as a result, I'm telling them, listen, I'm showing you how to make money. I'm
Mm-hmm.
showing you how to save money. And there are other things that I put you in, and I'll tell you all about this down the road, called level 2, level 3 processing. There are things out there that people have gotten sued over. Walmart and the others have sued the credit card industry on right now. They're still pending. That there's cards out there that comes in at 2.95%, 2.85%. Level 2, level 3 optimizations allows you to attack those cards and bring them down to 2%. We have that
Wow.
ability to do that as well. And we do that for those major companies where when they're spending $10,000 or $11,000 average,
Mhm.
now all of a sudden they may save $1,500 on that per month. So if you want to know all the tricks as to what's going on in the industry, we know them all. And what we
Okay.
and what we try to do with what we know is say, okay, let's not be tricked any longer. Let's
Mm-hmm.
keep your money in your bank account, but you keep growing your business. And then as a result, because of your profits, you don't have to go after your customers to try to pay for things. And all of a sudden,
Exactly.
you're now in a competitive situation where
Mm.
all of a sudden you're viable, you're strong, and you're moving forward.
And yes, that's the key right there is being able to, like you said, not being knowledgeable. You're paying all of these fees. You don't really understand why and how you're doing it.
Yep.
Getting
Yep.
with a company that can educate us on how we can reverse that and become black businesses who are thriving. And I love the fact that of what Latisa also said, and I know that you also share the same sentiment, Mr. Bailey, is removing the middleman, finding the person that actually produces or
Mm-hmm.
manufactures the raw materials or resources that we need when we're putting to that require us to make up our product, right?
Mm-hmm.
Latisa and I were just on the phone today. We were talking, we had a really good conversation. We're already in the process of partnering together on quite a few things so that we can bring black businesses those connections, Mr. Bailey,
Mm-hmm.
that you all were speaking of, that will cut out the middleman because that's another way to increase your revenues. So the fact of the matter is that we're talking about Premier Generation LLC that provides you with a merchant service that you already need, but at a discounted rate. You're getting excellent customer service. You're getting a company who's going to be looking out for you when it comes to, what do you call it, buybacks or returns and all of that stuff.
Chargeback.
They're looking out for you for all of that. You're talking about looking out for you in terms of security, but you add a caveat of consulting onto that.
Mm-hmm.
Consulting, if anybody has ever hired a consultant, okay, you can pay anywhere from, for a good consultant, $250 an hour and upwards. So the information that Latisa is sharing and that Mr. Bailey has shared, these are all caveats that you're adding to your arsenal, right? To help to fortify your company so that you can position yourself in a way that you're maximizing your profits. The consulting piece alone, even if you didn't do all of the other stuff that you do at Premier Generation, Mr. Bailey, the consulting piece on top of that, I'm sorry,
Yeah, so
y'all. Y'all
let me just
go
add to
ahead.
the consulting piece. So I just so that, everyone is clear that everyone has their own specialty. Okay, so
Mhm.
when you look on the site and you see Danielle, you see Rashad, and you see my father, Alex, everyone specializes in a specific thing. So one
Mhm.
thing that one of us may specialize in, the other may not. So it's just
Mhm.
kind of navigating and say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, when it comes to merchant services, those chargebacks, and my dad, Alex, he's an expert. Okay.
Right.
I have done years of it, and I'm really great at it as well. It's something I've been able to perfect as well. But me as a consultant under Premier Generations, what I do a little bit extra for the clients, and this is what I did at TeeShirtz, which kind of got me in trouble because my conversations were a little long on the phone, is that I'm guilty of it because I love helping people. But one thing I would do is, especially, and I would work with, hospitals, I would work with doctors, I would show them how to partner, how to grow their practice there. And I'm not even in the medical field, but I'm really awesome at research and finding stuff. And that's one thing that I did extra for my clients when I was at TeeShirtz, and that I'm bringing to the clients at Premier.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. And one other point I would like to throw in as well, back into the merchant service arena, is that when you deal with banks, banks have their own merchant service programs. Now, when you deal with banks and they tell you that you're required to do their merchant services, just listen and talk to us, because you are not required to do that. As a matter of fact, every account that we have, and we're not a bank, but we do merchant services. So I have people that basically say, okay, Mr. Bale, I'm dealing with my bank and this is what we're doing. I say, let's evaluate it. And then when we evaluate it, we get back. And they say, well, what about my bank? I said, all you have to do is send this letter to your bank. Tell them this is what we're going to offer and ask them, can they do it?
Wow.
Call me back, Mr. Bailey. They say they're not going to do all this. I said, okay, your question has been answered. In other words, we don't care who you bank with, as long as you have a checking account with send us a void check, and we can automatically put that money in your bank account.
Wow.
If some people that don't use checks, we have a letter that always send it to you. Then it goes to the bank. The banker writes it on their letterhead, and then basically give the account number. That's authorization for us to put your money into your account. There are a lot of ways where people feel that they have to do something they don't have to do because you don't know. So as a result, yes, we deal with all the banks across the world in terms of putting people's money in an account, and we do it very well.
Oh my gosh. This is like, I'm sipping on this tea. This is so good. This is so good. Listen, guys, we are again here with CEO and founder of Premier Generations, Mr. Alex Bailey. Listen, we are learning so much good information about merchant services and how we can go about making a transition over to their merchant services, because they add so much value to our businesses. Come on, guys. This is our opportunity, not only for us to say, hey, you know what, I'm a Black business, let's buy Black. Yes, this is our opportunity to partner with another Black business that's going to add value to us. So this is Premier Generations. Here is all of their information. Contact Latisa Fosu, the phone number, email address, website, www.premiergenllc.com. Now, guys, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back right after this.
It's a For Us, By Us extravaganza in celebration and support of Black brands and Black business excellence. Ignite Youth Incorporated presents to you Harlem Nights with a Modern Twist 2022 extravaganza, October 14 through 16, 2022. Business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives, join us for an exclusive B2B networking brunch. Families, enjoy our kids zone. Shop Black business vendors and eat from the best food trucks at our vendor festival. Grown folk, come party with us as we dance the night away. Check out our Harlem Nights fashion show, designs by fashion designers from all around the country. Enjoy casino games, signature cocktails, good eats, and our awards ceremony at our cocktail reception. Harlem Nights 2022 extravaganza will be an event you don't want to miss. Harlem Nights with a Modern Twist 2022 extravaganza, October 14 through 16, 2022, in lovely downtown St. Petersburg, Florida. We'll see you there. To learn more, pre-register for tickets, or as a vendor, visit www.mybimp.com.
All right, all right. Welcome back, everyone. If you are just now tuning in, you are tuning in to season 6, episode 5 of T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays. And tonight's guest, our expert advisors, are here from Premier Generation LLC, Mr. Alex Bailey and Miss Latisa Fosu. I am super excited to have them on tonight. And so let's get back into it. Let's get into it, y'all. Let's see. Okay, so we left off discussing the different consultants and the different value that they add to our to Premier Generation. And so let's see here. Let's so I wanted to get into this. I think okay, let's see. Latisa, try going out and coming back in. I think we have to let her know that because she can't hear. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going since we have Mr. Bailey here. So Mr. Bailey, how much do business owners typically spend on merchant services annual? When you're talking about a small business, how much do they typically, not your merchant services, but generally speaking, how much would a small business spend on merchant services annually, excluding the consulting part, for, like I said, merchant services, some of your competitors?
Well, it depends on your volume, number one.
Mm-hmm.
So I threw out like $75,000, and depending on how you're being charged in basis points. But I would throw a number out, let's say $600 a month. And if you take $600 a month times 12, that's that average small company that's doing business. And as a result of that, you again, it depends on the basis points. Someone could be charging you 250 basis points. Someone could be charging you a 1.5, which is 150 basis points. But the point I want to make is this: every application is different.
Okay.
Because one thing we have to understand, MasterCard and Visa has over 60 different types of credit cards. And they can range from 1.34% all the way up to 3.05%. And we don't know how they're coming in. We can only know your customer base after about 6 months of looking at how they're coming in and using credit cards. So my whole point is, and one of the things we're trying to drive to the Black businesses at this point, because it's being done very successfully, if we can do it well, and I think we can. If your average ticket is under $300, let's take a look at this cash discount thing, because all of a sudden that $500 or $600 go away. And when that goes away, that's money that you can use to run your business. But the most important situation you have is when someone comes in with that plastic, there's a good chance when they see something they like, it's not because they don't have the cash in the pocket. It's because they have it in the bank and they have their credit card. Exactly. I just went to but to go back to your question, it's kind of hard to be specific as to what the average cost is. It can average between $600 to $1,200, depending on the volume of business. Let's go back to credit card processing again. I want to make a point. I just took my wife to the Poconos. And we went to this resort.
Wow.
And I had some cash on me. And we were sitting down to dinner, and everything about that resort was at that resort. I pulled out my wallet to pay the bill, and she said, we don't take cash at this resort.
What?
Yes. They don't even take cash anymore. You're getting to a point where people are going away from taking cash.
Yeah, I know that's true.
When you're going away from taking cash, all of a sudden, and you have a credit card, and your average tickets are under $300, nobody's going to complain about 3.5% on a $100 bill.
Right. Right.
That, if anything I want to bring to the table is that. Now, if we run into a scenario and I'm dealing with you and we deal with everyone separately and based on how they do business, we understand your market when you tell us what it is. When we know what your market is, we think that's something that can be done, we're going to advise you to do it. If it's something that we see that, okay, that the market that you're in is not going to be applicable at this point, and you still want to maintain your growth, and you're going to someone like Shopify or what have you, let me explain what's going on. Let's say, let's say for an average interchange cost can be from, I'll just say 1.5%. Now, if Shopify turns around and put 1.5% on top of that, and some of them advertise that you're getting paid, you're charging 1.5%. That's from the processing end, but that's not from the interchanging end. Now, all of a sudden, you're paying 3%. Now, what does that mean in basis points? 300 basis points on a transaction. That's what that means. Now, what we would do in a scenario like that is basically tell Shopify, if they're working with us or Clover, whomever they may be with the POS system, saying, okay, we're going to take care of the customer. You do what you have to do, and that's going to be our customer to maintain. Now, when we do that, we would take that 1.5 and bring it down to about 80.
Wow.
You see my point?
Do y'all hear this?
You see my point?
Yes, I do.
So that's the point I'm making. People do it because they know they can make a lot of money, but at the same time, yes, we have a business to run, but we also know we have a line that we're going to keep. But we also know we're going to keep that line, because the most important thing about sales is maintaining your clients.
Exactly.
Maintaining your business. And one thing people do understand about the service that we get, they know we're fair with that. And when I tell them what these companies are charging, wait a minute, Mr. Bailey, you're telling me I'm going to have the same equipment, I'm going to be doing the same thing, and the only thing I have to do is go through your company, and you're going to control the prices and then take care of me from PCI compliance, E&V, the whole 9 yards. Anything you need to know from credit card processing, we got your back. And yes, my theory has always been to get a customer and keep them for life.
Wow. Wow. I'm like, I love it. Like, I'm hearing this all over again. And a lot of this stuff I've heard before in conversation. There's some new things coming in that I'm just like, whoa, it's something that needs to happen. We have to do this, guys. We have to come together as a community of business owners. And it's not like you're trading off your merchant services to do business with another Black business and you're paying more. No, he's talking about savings. So now I have a question for those small businesses that are listening in. They say, okay, so you might have discounted services through your merchant service program, but what about all of the equipment? Am I going to have to pay for that? How does that work? Do you have any type of discounts on equipment? How do you all work that in with the merchant services?
That's It's a very, very good question. As I told Latisa and Danielle, when it comes to the cash discount scenario, if you're in on that, we do take $225 application fee. Okay. But when you pay that fee, you get the equipment.
Wow.
So that allows me to basically do what I need to do, because again, there are manufacturers that work with me and I know exactly what I can get. I put myself in a position where, again, I basically tell customers, we're going to take care of you, but we're going to take you in a way that was moderate and it's fair. So when you pay that $225 application fee, and all of a sudden we send that equipment to you, and you're already downloaded, encrypted, and ready to go, applications approved, you process, and all of a sudden, if you in cash discount and you were paying $300 a month, or $250 a month, or $600 a month, you already got your $225 back in the first month.
Exactly.
It's a win-win proposition. Just that simple. So from equipment standpoint, yes, that's something that you're going to be able to do with an application. Now, that's with credit card machines. Now, if you go into a POS system, that's a whole different ball game. We have to evaluate the volume. We have to evaluate. It's kind of hard to give you that answer until we find out exactly how you're doing business and how well you're doing business, and look at the history of doing business. And then I can basically fight that battle when the battle comes.
Goodness gracious. People. If you are tuning in, please make sure that you visit Premier Generation. Go to their website, guys, www.premiergenllc.com. Also, again, you're getting premium service at a discount beyond what you're paying right now. And I can pretty much almost guarantee that. I mean, almost everyone that I've spoken with in terms of Black business owners, they are, especially if they're like on a small scale and they're big on, like, maybe they don't have websites, but they're on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, and they have the shops online. They're using, one of those other merchant service companies, whether it be, I know a lot of people are using, again, the Stripe, the Shopify, a lot of those others. And then they have it too. Now, this is a good question to ask too. Do you have it to where if someone's purchasing a product, buy now, pay later, or pay on installments? Do you all do that?
I wouldn't do it from a merchant service standpoint. Latisa, what about
Okay.
you? Do you have anything of that nature? Can you hear me?
I think she's muted.
Are you muted, Latisa? There you go.
Yes. So yes, we are working on that program of partnering with I think it's called Klarna. That's the new thing. Okay. My kids love it, that they always use it. So but yeah, it gives the opportunity, whether you want to pay 30 days later, it'll give you the opportunity to make the payments in 4 months or 12 months. So
nice.
that we are in the process of working on setting that up.
Wow. And listen, not only do they have this service. It sounds like I'm playing in the background. I think I'm playing in the background. Okay. So not only do they provide the merchant services, the consulting, but you heard Mr. Bailey refer to his daughter, Danielle. Danielle is the CEO, co-founder of ESS Group, and they have a content course that you can take to learn how to secure government contracts.
That's correct.
I'm saying you're not going to just, because I've been to like some content creators, I've been to like their webinars and Zoominars, and they're like, okay, they give you free information, but then you have to pay like thousands and thousands of dollars to get like, and then you're not even still getting all of the steps that you need to really be successful. With the ESS group, their content courses, they take you step by step on how to secure government contracts. Now, that takes your whole revenue stream to a whole nother level once you've secured government contracts. And I think that that's something that Latisa can attest to, because she has government contracts as well. And so this is like, listen, guys, when I tell y'all, when I said in the beginning that all of his children have some attributes, skills, talents that contribute and come in, that just makes this whole giant called Premier Generation. Yes, we do. They do. They do. So before we close up here for the evening, I do want Miss Latisa to just share a little bit about the government contract part. I know she probably can't go into a whole lot of depth on it because that's her sister's arena, but I know she can give us an overview on that. Latisa, can you share a little bit about that?
Well, actually, yes. Actually, Danielle and I both started doing government contracting actually together. So her course is based off of what we have learned over the years, the do's and the don'ts. Because trust me, trying to do business with the government, people will tell you oh, it's quick, it's easy, and it is not that type of a process. So I also, through the ESS group, even through her, I do assist clients as well, because again, I also hold my own contracts. So when they do go through that course through the link that I gave you, they would also have me as well. So, but what it does is it really takes you through, it puts you in a more, I guess it puts you in a more realistic position. A lot of people think, and they'll sell you, oh, you can do business and stuff like that. But it is a process, and the course allows you to prepare for that process. There's steps that you have to take. A lot of times when it comes down to proposal writing, getting certifications, things like that, there are a lot of roadblocks, and people do charge an arm and a leg just to get one little step ahead, versus you can go ahead and just go through the course and it will just guide you through it.
Right.
And then if you do get stuck, you can also call. We'll just help you through, say, hey, maybe you're just stuck here. Let's try to get around here. This is what you're missing, if that makes sense. Versus trying to pay someone, say, hey, come pay me $2,000 and I'll just get you certified. And there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that they're doing the work. You know, I've seen plenty of people where they hired someone and know the certification, they haven't heard back from them, they paid the money. So, but what this course does, it makes sure that that you have everything that you need to get to that step to win that contract. And it also goes through debriefing. If you didn't win the contract, hey, this is how you go about contacting that agency. Hey, where did I fall short? So that you can go back and rebid for a different one and then just kind of make up for those mistakes. Go ahead and correct those. Yes. So it really takes you through that with contract management, how to maintain it, because a lot of people lose their contracts if they do not know how to maintain the contract and how to close it out.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people will lose renewals that way.
That's great.
Wow.
And if I may piggyback on something here, in the merchant services side, from a standpoint of our credibility and the type of companies we do business with already, there's a company in New Jersey called the Paul Miller Group. They sell Rolls Royces all the way down to Toyotas, and they have about 14 different locations. They've been doing business with us for over 15 years. There's another group out in Pennsylvania called the Burgies Group. They do well over $15 million in volumes per month. They've been doing business with us for over 17 years, with me for over 17 years. So what I'm trying to impress upon you is we're for real. And now this is our way to give back. And this is our way to do something for us at this point. I would actually tell you, and I would tell you boldly, that 95% of the business that we have are all white merchants.
Wow.
Being a business of our caliber and who we are, and my face when I walk into that door, when you're doing things right, it doesn't matter. How you represent yourself and how you maintain your credibility and how you do the job. Do what you say you're going to do, make it happen. And at some point in time, when there's any question about what we're doing and how we're doing it, from anybody on the outside, be the competitors, they call me to check the story out. So what I'm saying is, you're dealing with professionals. We know what we're doing, and we're here to help. We're here to help. That's why we have the ability to go after the Shopifys, and that's why we have the ability to take those 1.5 down to 80, because we can afford to do it.
Wow. Y'all heard it right here. I mean, that sums up this interview. Listen, if you didn't get anything else, you got that. This is they're doing real business. And so we need to be able to be at a level where we can compete. And so this right here helps to get us there, right? Listen, we're partnering with them. They're going to be on our mybimp.com marketplace. You guys will be able to sign up for services, merchant services through our mybimp.com marketplace, as well as you'll be able to sign up for the content creation, the content courses for securing government contracts as well. Guys, we need to be present. We need to be present, and we need to be educated and knowledgeable on the things that we're presenting here tonight. The things that Mr. Bailey and Latisa talk, guys, they know what they're doing. And there's nothing better than going to someone who's an expert at what they do. Like, you're not going to go to have open heart surgery and let a podiatrist or or
Mhm.
or orthodontist perform your open heart surgery. You are going to go to the person who is skilled to do what they do in their industry. And here you hear, like, they are skilled to do, they have the knowledge, they have the education, they have the years of experience, which comes along with wisdom, to do everything that they've said here on this platform tonight that they can do. So, with that being said, I want to thank you both for joining us.
Pleasure.
Yes, yes, yes. I want to thank you both for joining us. We do want to share your contact information once again with our audience. Um, so that they can know how to go about reaching you. Premier Generation LLC, you can contact Latisa Fosu. Phone number 1-800-587-9135, extension 2. Please also feel free to email l.fosu, Fosu, at premiergenllc.com. Please also feel free to visit their website at www.premiergenllc.com. As I said tonight, guys, if you have friends or family, you're tuning in tonight, you're armed with the knowledge that needs to be shared amongst our community. So please share this show, share this episode with family, friends, anybody that's doing business. If you didn't understand the content that came forth tonight, share it, because at the end of the day, you have their contact information. You can reach out to them at any time should you have any questions or should you have any concerns. Don't be the one in the classroom that's scared to raise their hand and ask a question and miss out on opportunity to increase your revenues and decrease your expenses. This is that one time and this opportunity that you have to go ahead and let's thrive in our businesses. Thrive in small businesses. That's what we need to have on a t-shirt. Thrive in small business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, with that being said, I want to say thank you once again, Mr. Bailey and Latisa, for joining us tonight. You know, we are in constant communication. We have some stuff that we're working on to bring to all of our Black vendors, Black business owners. They want to make sure Mr. Bailey has a passion. He's built up his business all these years. And now that he's in a position to reach down and bring us up to, we need to take advantage of it. Let's hit the ground running and don't look back. All right.
Amen.
So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much once again to our special guest. You all have a fantastic, fantastic rest of your evening. We'll see you next week for T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays, season 6, episode 6. And don't forget to tune in on Thursday evening to Bimp on the Spot with Taz. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you soon. Have a great evening.
Good night.
Goodbye, everybody. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.